Well, hey guys, what's up? Mike Gross here at rockinguitarlessons.com and youtube.com/rockinguitarlessons1. This is basically, I've had actually quite a few people asking me some questions on how I make my lessons, what I use, how I use it, do I use tabs, what guitars, what amp, how can I tell the tuning of a song when I'm figuring it out. So I'm going to do a quick lesson just on explaining that. First of all, welcome to my family. All these guitars. This is probably my favorite one. It's an Ibanez. The crazy thing is, this is made in Japan, but it was made in the 80s. I paid over $1,000 for this used years ago. Seymour Duncan pickups, but it doesn't say RG 550 or nothing like that on it. And I don't know if I were to tear it and strip it down if it would say. I just know it's a high quality, I mean, top of the line Ibanez. This thing's amazing. It's kind of heavy too, but the neck's like butter. So I love this thing. I'm not going to talk a lot about my guitars here, but this white one is a Parker Fly with a graphite neck. I like it. I like the tone. I like the feel. The downside is there's no dots on the neck except on the 12th fret you have a marker, and then you have your dots up here on 3, 5, 7, 9, and double dots on 12, 15, blah, blah, blah. I like having dots on the guitar. They're sight markers is what they are, and they just help you, especially if you're playing and it's a little bit darker. You depend on that. If you're playing in E minor, boom, you have your points of reference. So, but I still play it a lot. It doesn't have a lockdown tremolo on it, so I can change tunings real quick and easy. That's why you see me playing this a lot. I wish I could play my Ibanez or my Yamaha more, but they're locked into a set tuning. This one right here is a really cool song, a cool guitar too. It's a Yamaha, and it looks like a Pacifica, but it doesn't, let's see. Yeah, it doesn't, doesn't say. It's got the Floyd Rose tremolo, so does my Ibanez. Great sounding guitar. I'm going to try to use these more in future lessons. Over here, this is my Ibanez Sound Gear bass, and I haven't brought this into Rockin' Guitar Lessons yet, but I will. I'm not going to say a lot about that either, but I plan on doing bass, drums, some keyboards, and vocals, but that's down the road, so enough about that. This is just a beater guitar, nothing great. It's made by Washburn, Oscar Schmidt. It just gets the job done. My Martin and my Taylor, I haven't bought it yet, but I will. So that's my family of guitars, most of them. My amp is a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. I love this amp. It's my dream amp. If you guys, I've had some of you subscribers asking about, what gear should I get. If you're into not even just metal, Mesa Boogie is so diverse. It covers all styles. Even Carlos Santana, I don't know if he still does, but he was playing through the Mark V Mesa Boogie. They're really versatile. But definitely for metal, man, they're just amazing. And metal and rock. They're tone machines. You can use them for any style. Country, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I love it. That's my baby. It has a clean channel, distortion, and then a heavier distortion, and then a solo channel on my foot switch that I can boost to get more volume for solos. That's cool if you're doing the live gig thing, and you're jamming out. And then I have a Rocktron, and it's you probably can't really see it, but it's a rack unit, and it's called the Expression, made by Rocktron. I love that unit. It's very cool. I'm usually like a stomp box guy. I like to just have my pedals on the ground and blah blah blah. But this thing's cool, man. For what I'm using it for, I can dial it in and try to get it close to the actual band sound. Like some of my Korn lessons you'll listen to. I mean, it sounds exactly, I'm not sure if that's what Korn uses, but it's something close to it. So anyways, let's move along here. Do I use tabs when I figure out these songs for you guys? The answer is no, 100% no, for several reasons. For one, anyone can put tabs up and say, here's how it goes. And you could say, well, isn't that what you're doing, Mike? You're just saying this is, well, I'm not putting up tabs. But, I trust my ear. I can't fix my cars. I don't have a lot of skills, guys. Music is what I was meant to do. So this is my confidence, my strength area. So I learned to acquire my ear kind of out of necessity. I didn't get guitar lessons as a kid. I wanted them. So a lot of my learning came from sitting down. I did order lessons through the mail several times. Like I remember Scorpions and Black Sabbath and Ozzy. Metallica. They were Starlicks. I think Doug Marks was the teacher. And it was on a cassette tape, and it got sent to my mailbox out front. And that's how I did that. So, anyways, how much? Okay, we still got some time. So, I use my ear for figuring these out, but I also, in the wonders of the internet, I will go to the actual band's official video, or I will try to catch a live concert where I can see where the guitar player has his hands and where he's placing them, because I really want to do my lessons exactly how the bands play them. I don't want to do throw-togethers. I want it to represent exactly, and it's still, yeah, my interpretation, you know, but, and no one gets it 100% right. I made a mistake on Whitesnake's Still of the Night. Not note-wise, but which I played an A on the low E string 5th fret where it was supposed to be on the A string open. Little things like that. And that frustrates me when that happens, but it does. And that's why I say no one is 100% perfect. So let's move on. We've talked about that, guitars, my amp. How can I tell the tuning of a song? Really quick, let me explain this, and we're going to have to kind of wrap this one up. What did I just say? How can I tell the tuning in a song? This is tough, man. I've been teaching privately for 20 years, over 20 years. To explain and teach that to someone is tricky, man. I'm not kidding you, it's tough. I'll give you the pointers that I use, and maybe this will help you acquire your ear, because ear training takes time. If you're training, you're conditioning yourself, and it takes a while to build that up. But people learn at different paces too. What I do, for one, with the internet, like I said earlier, you can watch where the band's at when they're playing it. If you're tuned up to standard, and let's use Van Halen Unchained, and I can't remember the tuning on that, I just know it's a drop tuning. I don't know if it's drop C or drop C sharp. I think it's drop C sharp. Well, if you hear a note, this is where your ear comes in, and it's below that low E on your guitar in standard tuning, then that's got to tell you it's definitely not standard, because your guitar is the lowest it will go. And you're hearing this dun 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 dun. A lot of times palm muting with rock and metal is done on a low E string. You got to listen to part of the song, a chunk of it, because sometimes you may think, oh, okay, he's chunking on that low E string, and then later in the song, like Disturbed, that happened with me with a private student not too long ago. Got to the middle of the song and I heard him go even lower. I'm like, ah, oh, geez, I should have listened a little further into it. But some of it's guesswork until you get to the point that you're assured that that's how they're tuned with it. You can watch them in concert and see if they're going dun 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 if it's an open. You got to zone in on where their fingers are. But you know, back in the day, I didn't have that. You know, so I had to really use my ear to figure this stuff out. I hope that helps you guys. It's a really hard thing to teach. I've had personal students ask me that several times over the years, and you know, listen is the best thing I can explain. Listen for the deepest note and try to match that note. And then once you change that top string, chances are you're going to have to change the A, D, G, B, E. Not always. In drop D tuning, you don't have to do that. You just change the top one. I'll talk more about it in the future. We're going to wrap this lesson up. Do we call this a lesson? But Meth Lab. Methab. This is your idea, and Raggy Ragsdale, you seconded that and said, hey, that's a great idea. So I figured 2 people in one day asked about specifically me talking about this, so I'm sure there's other people that are curious. I'll do some more lessons on it, and I'll show you how I do some of the editing. I'm pretty new at it, guys, 2.5 months in, and I'll save it for another lesson, but I had to learn as I went. I'm using this Windows Live Movie Maker. I don't need tons of fancy graphics, you know. We're doing lessons, but you know, I try to make them professional for you guys and keep them consistently top notch. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, by the way, go check out all my lessons. You can make requests, all that stuff. I will get your requests out to you. And if you have questions on any lessons, I'll clear them up for you. Spread the word about me, Mike Gross. rockinguitarlessons.com is my website, coming in September of 2012. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/rockinguitarlessons1. So like I said, if you're not subscribed, go subscribe. Start commenting and liking, and don't dislike. That would suck, man. And everyone does it. It happens out there to the best. I've watched Paul Gilbert stuff, and I've seen double-digit dislikes. What is wrong with people? You cannot dislike Paul Gilbert. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the suggestions. Meth Lab and Raggy. Appreciate both you guys very much. And we'll talk to you soon.